Hey guys. Good morning. Happy Sunday. How you doing? So it's a quick live today, maybe about 20 minutes. I'm going to give you the only objection handling training you are ever going to need. The other day I released like this little Google Doc. One of my clients, like shout out to her, she's amazing. She took all my objection handling training frameworks and she put them just into a Google Doc with all the objections, partner objection, money objection, all the objections are there, and she put them all onto the framework, but I thought onto the Google Doc, but I thought would be really helpful for you would be if I went through it and you actually got to hear me explain the reasoning behind it and speak. And so I'm going to do that. Say hello if you're watching, good morning. If you're on the replay, say replay. Um, Before I get into the document though, and if you guys want it, if you haven't got it already, just comment scripts and I'll send you through the scripts. But before I get into it, I want to share with you a couple of things that has just transformed my business and made sales significantly more easy and brought us really, really hot, ready to go clients that are easy to work with, that don't really have that many objections. And so if you can get this right from the beginning and then you add the objection handling scripts on top, like, oh my God, you guys are going to be fire and sales is going to be so easy. It's going to feel so good to you. And so the first thing I want you to write down is the best way to handle an objection is to not get it. Now, sales isn't black and white. Sometimes there's some tension in sales when we go through the scripts, people are like, oh, that's expensive. Oh, this, all that, right? Sometimes there's a little bit of tension, a little bit of friction in sales, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if we can get our marketing and our presentation and our pitch and our offer to do a lot of the heavy lifting for us so that when people come, we've already preempted and pre-handled the objection, we actually just don't get it, then that's better, right? Like, who would agree that is better? Just comment better if you would rather do it that way. I actually saw, I don't have it here, over there, inside of Alex Hormozy's new book that I bought. I haven't read it yet, but I opened it up and it just perfectly stood out to me. There was one line, and I think it said, I'm gonna have to find it, but basically it said hard sales is for shitty offers. Or something along those lines. So basically, if you have a really good offer, you don't need to hard sell. And that's the goal, is for our marketing, for our offer, for our presentation, for everything in the lead up to the sales call to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. And then if you just throw this on top, obviously sometimes there's always going to be a little bit of fear, a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of tension, and you can use this and these scripts and these frameworks plus a good amount of rapport to move people across the line, and you'll have crazy high conversion rates, right? Like our sales calls convert at over 50%. Most people get on a call ready to rock, ready to go. And anyone who doesn't buy on the first call, a lot of the time, like, they're very close to buying in the next month or so. And so the first thing that I want you guys to be able to do is reverse engineer your entire business from the offer. This is something that I learned from one of my mentors, Richmond, and it completely changed my business when we started doing this. Is we start with the offer and then we reverse engineer what content needs to go into our training, into our workshop, into our challenge, whatever you're using as a sales bridge, right? You have some kind of sales bridge between your content and your offer. That sales bridge could be a launch, it could be a challenge, it could be a workshop, it could be a two-step sales process, but really you're better to have something, some kind of like educational workshop or boot camp or challenge that's going to give value, right? Help them solve a problem and then have them lead directly into the offer. And so if you can reverse engineer from the offer, for example, we have a group growth challenge. And growing your group is step one in what we do. It's step one. Like, once you grow your group, you still need to generate leads, monetize the group. You need to create engagement in the group. There's steps that come afterwards. So when people come to our group growth challenge, they grow their group. That's step one, and it makes logical sense for them to want to move to step two and step three and step four, which is inside of the program. If that makes sense, like, just put clear, put tracking in the chat box if that's making sense. Because if you can reverse engineer your business like that, and I know this is a little bit high level, but if you can reverse engineer your business like that so that it just makes sense, and then it goes back into the content again. So as an example, right, we could grow the group and I could have a training inside of my Facebook group, and the training inside of the Facebook group might be, 5 ways to grow the Facebook group as an example. So do a live training, 5 ways to grow your Facebook group. And then I say, hey guys, by the way, if you want to do this together on a challenge and we'll actually grow your group together and have fun, there'll be a lot of energy and a lot of momentum, and we'll get you your next 100 group members together, comment challenge and you can come to my challenge. And then they come to the challenge and then they grow the group. And then it's like, okay, cool. Now, if you want to know how to nurture those leads and then book sales calls and convert them, here's my program. If you want more details on the program, right, you can book here or book this call or have this conversation, right? And so then it just leads like from content to challenge to offer. It flows really nicely. A lot of the time I see people and things are a bit disjointed. It's like they're maybe adding coaches and business owners, but then they're talking about a different kind of problem, or maybe like sort of manifesting, and they're talking about maybe they're talking about relationships or money, and then they come to the offer, and then the offer is all about building confidence, right? And there's just a disconnect every step of the way. And so that in itself, creates a lot of friction, and it reduces the throughput because there's a disconnect every step of the way. So if you can just streamline the whole process by reverse engineering from the offer, that's going to make things so much easier for you. The next thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that really there's only three main big objections that you need to overcome and that you need to handle. And if you do this, people will handle the money objection themselves. I don't believe it's my job to handle the money objection. It's not my job to say, oh, do you want to use PayPal credit? Or have you borrowed money from your parents? Or what about getting a loan? Like, it's not my job to suggest those things to people. If I have handled these other three big major objections, then they will go and decide if they want to get resourceful and figure out what resources they have to tap into. I have had people get credit cards. I've had people borrow from their parents. I have had people withdraw from their super or their 401k because they decided that this program was definitely going to help them get the outcome that they wanted, and it was worth getting resourceful for. And that is the one thing that I want you guys to write down. People buy certainty that they will get an outcome with you. And so firstly, like there has to be value in the offer. The outcome that they're getting from the offer and the offer that you're putting together has to be worth 10x what you're charging for it. It has to be a super good offer. It has to be a no-brainer. It has to be irresistible, right? And it has to give them certainty that they'll get an outcome, and there's very minimum risk to them. You really need to look at how can I minimize the risk or increase the certainty so high that there's just a massive perceived value in the offer. Which, if you guys want help with that, I'm doing an offer workshop. You can comment workshop and I'll help you put together your whole offer. So that's like number one objection is just value in the offer itself. A lot of coaching offers, they just sound vague and wishy-washy. It's like, come and work with me for 6 months. It'll be on whatever you want. You get on the calls and we'll see where you're at and what you need to work on. And then we'll go from there, and I'll help you overcome your blocks, and I'll hold you accountable to manifesting your dreams. Like, you guys tell me, does that sound like something that you want to pay thousands of dollars for? Like, oh, I just come and I get on the calls with you and you just see what I want and then you hold me accountable. Like, come on, guys. It really doesn't sound like this big no-brainer, irresistible offer and it doesn't give me total certainty that I'm definitely going to get to my outcome either. Like, oh, you're leaving it all up to me. Like, I just go come and then tell you, and then you're gonna hold me accountable, and I don't know, I might not, it doesn't really sound that great. So there's not a lot of certainty in that pitch, in that offer to begin with. But they need to have like a good offer. So objection number one, like that, the offer is objection number one. The offer's got to be good. And I'm doing a workshop if you guys want to do it. The second objection that we need to handle is trust in you as a mentor, in your competency, in your ability to get them an outcome. This is why I love doing 5-day events. We do workshops, we do challenges, we do boot camps, but they're 5 days. 5 days because it gives us enough time to display competency over the 5 days and help someone get an outcome so much so that they have certainty that you are the coach for them. I want you to write this down. The best teacher wins. I might not be the best public speaker. I might not have the fanciest slides. I may not be the best with tech. I might be a little bit fumbly with the tech, but I know how to sit down in front of you and help you understand the problem and then communicate what the next steps are so that you can get an outcome and you can go and do those steps. You need to be a competent communicator and you need to be able to display competency in what you do to give them certainty that you, as a mentor, can help them get an outcome, or that your process or your program, right, can help them get an outcome. And so this is why I love 5 days, because anyone could turn up and fake it till you make it the whole way through a 90-minute webinar. You can practice it over and over and over, and you can pre-record it and then just go and share the recording with someone. But that really does not give the person on the other end certainty that they're going to be able to get an outcome with you. And at the moment, people aren't buying coaching the way that they used to buy coaching, which was, oh, this is new and I'm curious and I'm interested and maybe I haven't done it before. Right now, they're not curious, it's not new, they're not interested. They've been burned, they've done bad programs, they've been overpromised, they've been underdelivered, all that jazz. And so now there is a significant amount of scarcity, right? And a very low amount of trust. And so for us to be able to display competency is going to be like really, really important in moving them across the line. So first objection is offer. Second objection is competency in you as a coach. And then the third objection that we need to overcome is that they have trust in themselves. They can do the work and get the outcome. Again, another reason why I love doing the 5 days is because we can get them taking some steps forward and they can see, oh, wow, I can actually get a result. So I don't know who's on here at the moment. Marlene, right? Marlene can come and she can do the challenge and she can go, oh, wow, I can get an outcome with Sarah because I already just got an outcome this week. Or Susan can be like, oh, wow, I just grew my group this week on her free challenge. So if I just grew my group this week on her free challenge, I can definitely get an outcome with her in her program. And so if you guys can reverse engineer from the back of the business, that's going to make things flow really nicely. If you can structure your sales event so it handles those three things and your offer, right? So that that's handled. Then when we do get onto a phone call and we have objections to handle, because that will happen, we will get on a call, we will have objections to handle, and there'll be a little bit of tension. Then you can use these frameworks and these scripts, which I have for you guys. So I'll share my screen. And it's just going to be much easier to move people across the line. It's not going to be a hard sell. I really love that quote from Alex Hormozy. Is like, hard sells are for shit offers, right? So if you have a good offer, you have competency, they have certainty that they can get an outcome with you, then there's really just a little bit of fear underlying that, couple little niggly objections that we can help them feel safe, help them feel secure. Like, write this down, like safety. A person needs to feel safe with you to make a buying decision. So a lot of what we're doing when we're handling objections is helping them feel safe. And so then we can come and we can have a conversation where we can help someone move past their objection, and you can use these frameworks and use these scripts to do that, and it'll be so much easier and it's not going to feel like a hard sell. So comment scripts, if you don't have this, I posted it on my page last week, so I'm sure that a lot of you have it, but if you don't have it, comment scripts and I'll send it to you. There's a whole bunch of different ones here, so you guys can go through them all, but I'm going to go through a couple just because I thought it might be valuable to see me speak to them versus just reading it on the screen. So number one, like, it's a big investment. If somebody says it's a big investment, that is not a no. That is not a no, I'm not buying. That is a lot of the time, if someone's like, it's a big investment, it's like, it's a big investment. I want to do it, but I'm wrestling with the idea of spending this money. Right? Like, it's a lot. They want it though. And so for that, like, pattern interrupt, guys, you don't need to handle the objection. You don't need to try and start beating them down on, yeah, but you get this and but that, right? None of that. I just agree with them. Yeah, I know it's a lot. And then I shut my mouth. Pattern interrupt. They're not expecting you to do that. You can be playful about it. I know it's a lot. And then you say nothing and you let them sit with it. So often when you just shut your mouth, people will walk themselves into the sale. Right? You talk people out of sales because you keep talking. You keep rambling and you keep going on, and then it gives them too much information, and then they get overwhelmed, and then it's like, oh, okay, I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to go and think about it, right? Shut your mouth. Less is best. It's a lot, yeah. And then often they'll be like, okay, let's do it, right? And then done. Didn't even need to handle the objection. Next one down here. This is kind of common in like my niche, in a business coaching niche, right? People are typically very afraid that they're going to fail, or that they're not going to be successful, or they have failed before. So this may not be common in every niche, but I do know that a lot of my clients in some niches have this objection as well, as what if I fail, right? Again, I'm not going to blow smoke up someone's ass. They need to know, right? They need to know that we have their back 100%. They need to feel safe and secure, and they need to feel like it's possible to get the outcome. But we don't want them to feel like we're just, I'm just saying whatever to get you across the line. And so I will agree with them. Like, failure is a very real possibility. I know it's scary. You might fail. They're not expecting you to say that, right? It's a pattern interrupt. You need to interrupt the pattern. You need to shift the pattern so then you can shift the conversation. Because when someone is in a pattern, like think about when you are like in a fight with a partner. If anyone's got a partner, right, and you know their triggers, like just put like yes, if you have a partner or a friend or anyone that you know, it could be a boss, and you know their triggers. And as soon as they get triggered, you know that you can't have a conversation with them. Maybe it's yourself. You know, when you get triggered, I'm like, fuck, like you're in that pattern. And when you're in the pattern, it's really, really difficult to have that conversation with someone. And so the best way to be able to have a conversation with someone when there is like a little bit of tension and they're in a pattern is to interrupt the pattern. Right. And you can interrupt the pattern a lot of different ways. You can interrupt the pattern by being funny, by being playful. This is my go-to. I used to love this when I was selling over the phone. I used to sell insurance over the phone. And I sounded like I sound like a 16-year-old kid. It's so bad listening to the replays of my phone calls. But a lot of the time, people would say no, or even door-to-door sales. People would be like, I'd be saving them money on their electricity bill. And they're like, oh, I don't want to go get the bill and do it. I can't be bothered. And so I just be playful. I'm like, what do you mean you can't be bothered? It's gonna save you money. That's crazy. That's banana pants. Whatever. I just be really playful about it. So you can be playful, you can be charismatic, or you can just say something that they're completely not expecting you to say. In this case, it's like, I know you might fail. That's true. Give them a second. Let them sit with it for a second. Then you can move on. Like, can I ask you a question? What is failing to you? Or this is another good question. This question I love. You guys should write this down. I don't know if it's on this document somewhere or not, but one of my mentors said this. He said, if you do this and you move forward, what are you afraid will happen? And then shut your mouth. And they're going to tell you what they're afraid will happen, right? If they fail, if they join the program and they spend the money, well, my husband's gonna hate me. I spent this money and I didn't get the outcome again. Right? Let let them say that. A lot of the time they just want to know that you have their back. And I love this for the partner objection. I think I might have it written down here somewhere. So if someone here we go. I need to ask my hubby. This is a slightly longer one. But if someone has the partner objection, I'm not trying to like beat them into submission. Well, what would your partner object against? And blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, well, look, if you were to join, understand your partner probably just wants the best for you. They probably just want the best for you. Would that be fair to say? Yes. Amazing. You want to do this either way? Yes. But you just told me that you are afraid if you join and this happens. And yes, right? Okay, cool. If and you can collect your thoughts, guys. You can stop, you can collect your thoughts. I just said, because I jumped from one script to another script, I kind of like meshed them together, right? But they don't know that if I accidentally did that. They don't know any different. So I just said a couple of different things. I can stop, I can collect my thoughts, and I can rephrase it back to them. So let me just make sure. And that then they can tell that you're being intentional, that you're listening, and that you care, and they feel heard. So I'm gonna just make sure I'm on the same page with you. You want to do this. You're afraid that if you do this, this will happen, and you're afraid that your husband will then, be upset with you because of this, because of blah, 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 blah. Yes. Okay. Let me ask you, all of that, all of that aside, at the end of the day, like, is this what you really want? Do you really want this? Is this the goal? Are you gonna go and, try and achieve this goal anyway? Well, yes, yes, I am, and I do. And do you want to do it in the program? Yes, I do. Okay, amazing, cool. So I can't tell you what to say to your partner, right? I can't tell you what that conversation is, but to me, it sounds like you want to do this either way, and you just need a little bit of security from me and to know that, if you come into the program that we're going to be able to help you succeed. Am I on the right page? Am I feeling that correctly? Yes. Yes, yes, that's exactly right. I do want to do it, and I really want to achieve this goal, and I am going to have the conversation with my partner. I just, I want to make sure that I'm making the right decision and I don't fail. Okay, cool. Tell me, what do you need to know from me to have certainty that you're going to get the outcome in this program? And they're going to tell you, they're going to say, okay, well, I just need to know, like, that if I need help, you're going to, like, message me and you're going to reply and you're going to be there. And then they can come to the call times and then there's replays and look at, right? Then they're just going to tell you everything that they need, right? Because they've already told you what they're afraid of if they fail. They've already come to terms with the fact that, well, I might fail, but really it's on me. Okay, I just need that last little bit of security now. I just need to know that I'm going to come in and it might be hard and I might fail, but I don't want to fail. And Sarah's going to have my back and she's not going to leave me high and dry. And then you can let them sit with that and go, okay, right? Yes, 100%. These are the times I'm typically going to respond to you within 24 hours. We're in a different time zone. So, and you can pat and interrupt again, be playful, right? Typically respond in less than 24 hours, but I do sleep. Okay, I do sleep. So usually I'm in the DMs in the morning, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll be there, I'll respond to you in your afternoon, but I do sleep. I'm not completely nocturnal. Pat and interrupt, right? Make them laugh. If you can make them laugh, you are significantly more higher chances of making a sale because you're changing their brain chemistry. When someone is stressed, right, and anxious, then obviously we have high levels of cortisol and chemicals and neurotransmitters that don't help us make very good decisions. And if we can help them laugh, you instantly change their brain chemistry away from that. And you're building rapport and you're building trust all at the same time, just from, and then helping them relax just from making them laugh. And I used to have a rule, like when I sold timeshare, I did not start my presentation until they had laughed. I didn't care how mean they were to me, it did not matter. Like, I was not presenting until you had had a giggle with me. And so you can, have a giggle when you're handling these objections or putting these things in, and then just give them a second and go, okay, cool. So do you want to kick some goals? And then shut your fucking mouth. When you ask, you have to ask for the sale again. A lot of the time we go, right, and we handle the objection, or we hold the space, or we ask the question and we let them sit, we let them think, we let them talk it through. That's cool. But then we feel awkward asking for the sale again because they already told me no. I don't know if anyone's read, there's a book somewhere. I don't know what it's called. I don't think it's Go for No. No, it's something persuasion. It's written by like an investigator guy or something, and he's talking about negotiating. Oh man, I can't remember the name of the book. It's a really good book. It's about negotiating. And he said the negotiation doesn't start until they say no. The negotiation starts after they say no. So don't feel like because they said no that you can't ask again. You let them say no because they will relax when they say no because now there's no pressure. They've already said no to you, so they can actually chill the fuck out, have a breath, and talk to you about what the heck is going on. And that is the goal, is really to be able to enter a meaningful conversation. Because a lot of the time when we get the first initial objection, it's just a smoke screen. It's like, it's whatever. It's not the deep level. Well, I'm just really afraid that I'm going to come in and then you're not going to reply to my messages and then you're going to ghost me and I'm going to need help and I'm not going to get the help that I need and then I'm going to fail, right? Like, that hasn't come out yet in the smoke screen of I need to think about it or I need to talk to my partner. And so when we let them just say no, and they need to think about it, cool, sweet, you can relax a little bit now. And if I have rapport with you and if you trust me, we can now enter this conversation of really seeing what is going on and talk about it. But then once you've had the conversation with them and you've spoken to them about it and you let them sit with it and they kind of are working through it in their head themselves, they're like, oh, yeah, I guess it is kind of silly. I am going to do it anyway. I know I want to do it and I know I'm just scared and Sarah's got my back. And really, it doesn't matter what my partner says because I know I'm just going to do it regardless. And he's going to support me because he always supports me. And so, okay, you let them like go through that. Ask for the sale again. That's it. Just ask for sale again. Cool. So, do you want to kick some goals? Yes, I do. Okay, Sarah, let's go. And so, anyways, you guys can comment scripts if you want that. If you want to come to the offer workshop, comment workshop, and we'll help you guys put together an offer that preamps, pre-handles the objections. It's a no-brainer. None of this fluffy, vague, wishy-washy crap. Certainty that they will definitely get an outcome with you. So workshop for that, scripts for this. But otherwise, peace and love. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.